So I'm coming out the other end of the holidays. I'm reflecting back on some of the moments over the holidays. I don't think they're unusual. We usually go to 34th Street in Baltimore. You know, Baltimore's got its own miracle on 34th Street. It's a block of row houses that are all just incredibly decorated up every year, and it's fabulous. People come from all over to just kind of take it in and wander around and look at it with their family and friends. And you know, I started to wonder about it. I mean, what is this thing? What is it that we're doing? I mean, there are some references to you know, the birth of Christ and so on, although they're minimal. So I started wondering, what's actually going on here? People are wandering around with this sort of sense of wonder on their faces and looking into the lights. And so I started to read up, and everybody knows about Joseph Campbell, and he said that a ritual is a way of enacting a myth, and it's a way of getting us to pay attention to what's most important to us. And this anthropologist, Clifford Geertz, he says that ritual is a way to merge together our worldview and our ethos, you know, what we believe with what we think is real. But, you know, I thought, is that really what's happening here? I mean, in a way, it doesn't feel like that. It feels like people are not thinking about that. So I came across this guy named Jens Kronath, and he's at Wichita State. And he says, no, if you're studying rituals in relationship to religions or myths or whatever, you're missing the boat. That rituals have their own inherent truth. They're not about something else. It kind of reminds me of some of the theories of abstract art, you know, that the painting isn't a reference to something else, it's a reference to the painting, and we should enjoy that for what it is. And I thought, yeah, that's feeling more like it. I mean, I don't know if everybody here is really thinking about something other than the lights and the social occasion of 34th Street. I think they're just thinking about coming out with their family and enjoying the lights, and they seem to really enjoy it every year. So then I started to read this book called All Things Shining that David Brooks tipped me off to. You know, David Brooks in the New York Times. And it's by Hubert Dreyfus and Sean Kelly. And they're saying that, you know, since we don't have here in the modern West, since we don't have some unifying, unquestionable, say, religion that ties us all together, that gives us that sense of meaning, he says that we're actually getting our emotional survival from what happens in sports arenas, you know, at really exhilarating moments. He calls it this big whoosh, where everybody kind of feels this powerful emotion at the same time that feels bigger than themselves. And it's this kind of mass emotional moment. Again, he says around sporting events, but other things too. These rituals, like this moment on 34th Street, I think it's one of those moments. Devoid of some larger unified sense of whatever, it suddenly becomes about those moments. So then I come across this article in a medical journal, PLOS1, that is talking about non-deceptive placebos. Now stay with me here. I know this is kind of weird. A non-deceptive placebo is a situation where a patient is taking a pill that they know is just a placebo, that it's just a sugar pill. Well, the thing is, in this article, it describes that that works anyway. When people know that the pill they're taking is actually just a placebo, it still works. And they say that one of the reasons this might be true is because of the ritual of getting care and of taking a regimen of medicine. And I'm like, that's it. That's it. The ritual, the need for ritual, is not only real in that we need it emotionally, it's real in ways that, like, our body needs it to make a medicine work, or make a placebo work in that case. And then I started to go back to Joseph Campbell again. And Joseph Campbell is saying that what human beings are seeking is not meaning, but instead the feeling that meaning gives us. So I started to ask myself, how could I just use some simple handicrafts to make a symbol of the kind of concrete importance of ritual? The fact that we need it like a real thing. You know, when you're doing this, you want to wash the tire ahead of time. You know, I was really surprised at how hard it was to get a used tire now. You know, I went to a leading tire dealer. I went to 3 gas stations. Yeah, that's pretty good. Trying to do this with one hand so I can, you know, film it at the same time. It's like, whoa. That's better. Okay, looking pretty Christmassy. I've got this ribbon here. Yeah, so I just thought that I could, you know, use some of the stuff lying around the house and this tire to create a symbol of the fact that a ritual is really a place where the tire meets the road. Of course, I have to admit, the problem with ritual about ritual is that the morning after can seem a bit lackluster.
But what I want to know about us is, how do we feel about living from whoosh to whoosh, from ritual to ritual? You know, without any longer term meaning narrative we're going after, just kind of the fleeting experience of the ritual. I mean, this is new for humans. I wonder if it's going to make us sadder in the long term. I mean, I'm not pushing a Christian or any other agenda. I'm just wondering, if our rituals aren't about anything other than the rituals themselves, are they going to keep working for us? What do you think?